Well, good evening and welcome to the 7 o'clock talk. And tonight we're going to talk to Jessica about her fasting experience and one of the things not to do when you break your fast. So tell them what you've experienced, all your symptoms, what symptoms have gone away, what's going on.
Well, so I stopped eating for 10 days, so just water. And I actually felt really good until about an hour and a half ago. I felt fabulous, actually. And my inflammation in my joint knuckle was gone, and I could actually I can still make a fist. I don't have any pain. And then I ate pizza about an hour and a half ago, and I might as well just go upchuck it. Food is not my friend, and I could I'm going to go another 10 days without eating, or at least 7, or whenever Saturday rolls around.
And so, one of the reasons why you fasting is kind of like keto in that you want it so that you can help reset your cell's sensitivity to insulin. And she's been taking her vitamins, which stuns me because if I try to take vitamins on an empty stomach, I will puke like nobody's business. But she can do that and it doesn't bother her. But fasting, she's doing a water fast. So the only thing she's doing is drinking water, maybe some tea. I think you've had a little touch of coffee.
I make about 4 ounces of coffee, and I drink it like that much. So I'm probably get like an ounce and 2 ounces of coffee.
And so,
and I feel great. Actually, the first 3 days, if you can make it 3 days, you can make it however long you need to. You really don't need to eat. Food's no good.
I like food. But with that being said, the things that fasting forces the body into autophagy. And that's autophagy. And that just means that self-eating. And so cells that are damaged, cells that are injured, need recycled, the body will go in and have those cells self-destruct. And then when they self-destruct, she's suffering.
I am suffering.
I can't believe she broke her fast with. So let's talk about if you're fasting and you're going to break your fast and you've done an extended fast, so something more than 24 hours. If you have done more than 24-hour fast, when you break that fast, you should break the fast with broth, bone broth, soup, something like that, because the stomach hasn't been working and it can give you cramps, it can give you indigestion, it can do all kinds of things.
Well, I have a headache. I'm nauseous. I'm sweaty. My stomach is really needs to get it out. But I was only going to eat one meal, and then I was going to go fast again for like 7 or 8 more days. So it was just the meal I had. So it is what it is.
And she
But
is really good at, like, she produces ketones
that's what I
really
was going to
well.
say. Tell them about the levels of ketosis, because I was way high. I got to a 2.
And so there's a thing called the keto glucose index, something like that. And what that basically says is it's the actual depth of ketosis. And so the most you got in ketones was 2 point what?
I was 2.
You were 2.
Today was 2.0.
So
And that was with the little bit of, I did take a little bit of lemonade with my aminos.
yep. So when you're fasting and the body is cleaning itself up, autophagy, all of that stuff that's happening, that is cellular debridement. This is when you kill zombie cells. When you live in like the United States and you can eat tons of sugar, tons of calories, the body has this excess of sugar and energy essentially, and the cells don't have to kill themselves off. And so then you get what are called zombie cells or senescent cells, and these cells live for a long time. If you are metabolically flexible, you can go in and out of ketosis pretty easily, and you can flip that switch, and that's what keeps everything running. A lot of people who have never fasted will see blood sugars plummet, and medically we flip out about that. Oh goodness, your ketone or your blood sugar's a 40, and you got to kind of take that with a grain of salt. Look at the person. How is the person acting, behaving? Are they conscious? Do they know what they're doing? Can they talk? Or are they falling all over themselves? Because if somebody is whacked out and delusional, delirious, dizzy, all of that, and they're fasting, they're not ready to fast yet. They're not ready to do a prolonged fast. And so you have to start with like intermittent fasting for a few hours, and then you work up to 12 hours, and then you work up to 16 hours, and then that gives your body the ability to start to do that metabolic flexibility and getting the energy in. And once you do that for a long time, then you really, really, really have to, when you break a fast, the best way to break the fast is bone broth, soup, very light, very easy foods for the body to digest, and work your way up to solids again. You've got to get the digestive fluids going. You've got to get the intestines going, and throwing pizza in on it is a little rough. But she's done 10 days, and
I think the most I've done is what, 14 or 15?
Something like that. But I'm trying to, when we're looking at this for her for health, she's trying to kickstart her metabolism. And then after she kickstarts her metabolism, then we're going to have to eat in a different way to stoke that metabolic fire and keep it going. Because we all have some derangement of some sort. We can see it on the omics test. The organic acids test starts to show us that we're not producing energy the way we should. The Krebs cycle is off. The mitochondria are off. And all of this is to help that last longer, do better. Jason Fung wrote a book. Dr. Jason Fung wrote a book, The Ultimate Guide to Fasting. And that's a really good guide for people who want to learn how to fast. Fasting is not bad for you if you're healthy enough to fast. And the other thing about that is if you they've shown in studies that if you fast before chemo and stuff like that, the normal cells go into a protective mechanism. And because the cancer cells are so glucose dependent, then they die off very quickly. It weakens those, especially when we're dealing with doing chemo and things of that nature.
But on those ones, you have to be at least 72-hour fasted.
Yep.
To even get to the place where you start killing off.
Yep.
But if you can make it, everybody always asks me, "Oh my gosh, aren't you just feel like you're going to die?" No. After 72 hours, it's just all mental, like whatever day on the calendar. So I got to the day on the calendar that I could eat, which was today, and wasn't even sure I would even eat today because I'm like, I don't really even need to eat. But it was just a day on the calendar. But then once I decided I was going to eat, and then I knew I was going to put something in my mouth, and then I wanted to eat it.
And then you were hungry.
And then I was immediately ill.
And so, does anybody have any questions about fasting? I'll put in the comments over here about that. But fasting has been shown to Dr. Jason Fung, Ultimate Guide to Fasting. I believe that's what it's called.
Well, I don't think you should get into like as deep as ketosis. I mean, that's 2 is pretty rare. Like that's the kind of, they always tell you that you should only do that with a doctor's supervision. That's like if you have epilepsy, cancer, or there's one more.
And we monitor her ketones and blood sugar pretty much every few hours, right?
I probably checked it 3 or 4 times a day, but I've checked my blood pressure and I'm good. I mean, I felt the best I felt the best in the last probably 3 or 4 days than I felt in a year.
And it knocks down inflammation. It knocks down, it increases cellular sensitivity. It when you the biology is fast. The human body is just incredible. When you fast, when you first start to fast, the body's sensitivities to sugar goes way up. Then, after so long, say after 3 or 4 days of fasting, then the body's kind of shuts off the receptors for blood sugar, and your insulin sensitivity actually goes back down, because you don't want to shock the system, and you don't want to eat something and then just bum rush the cells with all this blood sugar. We have so many just incredible, absolutely incredible mechanisms in us that we don't know about. I mean, physiologists, and I'm just a doctor, as a lot of my friends and colleagues are. We're not even the PhDs, but they will all say the same thing. There is so much that we still don't know. I mean, talk about the microbiome. That information is coming out. I mean, part of the reason why she probably feels so good is she's worked for the last 2 years on her microbiome, and it shows on the testing. And so now when she fasts, that helps the microbiome. It kills off dysbiotic bacteria, it kills off sugar loving bacteria.
Well,
It's fascinating. I mean, it's unbelievable.
but I have a bunch of inflammation. I'm just experimenting on myself, really. I mean, but it just shows you that 10 days without food, and I actually felt awesome. Like the inflammation, like I could make.
Well, her orthopedic surgeon was like, huh?
Oh yeah, he couldn't believe I was in. I went and got an injection in my SI joint. That was 9 days fasted. He was like, "You mean you've not drank water in 9 days? You have to drink water." And I'm like, "Oh no, I haven't eaten any food." Couldn't believe it. And he's like, "Are you going to be okay? Are you lightheaded?" And I just jumped off the table. He's like, "I guess not." But I felt great. And I told him, I said, the funny thing is about that is it's the first time in a long time that my hands feel good. So honestly, I've been tested for autoimmune. I think I've shared that before. We've tested over and over again. It's always negative. So I get food tested on the 28th. And I'm kind of leading towards it's something to do with my food, even though pizza was everything I shouldn't have eaten, because that's everything I'm allergic to. So I'll probably wake up tomorrow and not be able to move my fingers, but it is what it is. So
we'll see the difference between functional medicine testing and regular medical testing, because so far they haven't even uncovered what we've uncovered through our functional medicine testing, and we've already addressed, because the MD is like, you should be having this and this and this, and you're not. And that's just a testament to the work that she's done.
Well, and we've uncovered a lot of stuff that they just noted. Well, in getting a doctor to actually just know anything about it. So he ran a alcohol swab over my back, and I just had this huge red reaction. But he's like, "What?" And he asked me about it, and I'm like, "Oh yeah." I mean, I already knew I was histamine sensitive, but I'm just curious to see. I think it's all going to come back as food related, inflammation triggered by food or something additives in my food. But when I did eat the pizza, but I won't do it again. And when I break my fast again, I'll be careful, because I think I'll go keto, and then I will have been I'll eliminate all the foods. Like it was just a treat.
Well, we are about 15 minutes in. If you have any questions about any of this, I'll put our email in here.
Yeah, but you should try fasting. You might just do it, a 12 to 8, then build up to 18-hour fast, and then one meal a day. You'd probably be really surprised, and then how quickly you can build up to like a 72-hour fast. But most people don't need to go days.
No. And that's all a part of just being metabolically flexible.
Well, and so the results of my 10 days went 10 days with water. And at first I was drinking about 144 ounces of water. And then after about the 5th day, I couldn't tolerate the water anymore. So then I would drink about 2 bottles of water, which wasn't enough. But what did I say? I was down 15 pounds in 10 days.
So
But most importantly, I can move my hands
the
and
inflammation
I feel better. So
a lot of what, I mean, once she breaks her fast and starts eating again, water weight will come back, but we're going to take advantage of the work that she's done on her metabolism at that point in time and reintroduce a new way of eating and probably eat according to the elimination diet. So, all right. Well, you all have a wonderful evening.
hey, Miss Kathy.
Oh, hi, Kath. And we will see you next time.